folks, what's up? I'm up here in New York State. I'm at the Whetstone Golf State Park. And I'm going to be doing a pastel painting of Tug Hill Vineyards, which it's not too far from here. It's about 6 miles from here. I was going to do the painting there, but the perspective, the way it sits up on the hill, actually the grapevines were in my way to get the perspective I wanted. So I took a bunch of reference photos, which I'll show you in a minute here. And yeah, I'm going to do the painting here. I came back to the campground. A lot of mosquitoes, and it may get noisy because in a couple days it's Labor Day weekend. So right now there's very few people in the park, but I expect people are going to be pulling in here. So I'll try to cut as much of that out as I can. So yeah, I did a pencil sketch to get the perspective I wanted, and I'm going to transfer that to my canvas now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's the sketch I did yesterday at the vineyards, just to get the perspective I wanted. I like to make notes, you know, so I don't forget things that I might want to add in. This dog, there's a dog coming down the hill, and he kept watching me. He was really friendly. He kept watching me, wondering, what am I doing in his field? But needless to say, I got to put him in the painting. So I got my pastels ready. I even have the frame to put it in. And I usually do my sketch, my perspective sketch, in pastel pencils, and then I'll start adding the pastels. So okay, here we go. Transfer my perspective drawing onto my canvas, which is a 500 grit UArt paper, and pastels. I use all kind of pastel, the different brands, so I won't even get into that. Now I usually use the color pencils that correspond with the painting, just to keep me on track. You know, I'm getting old. Okay, here we go. So first off, get your horizon. I mean, what it's all about. Gotta have the horizon. Trees. And normally, if I'm at home, I would, take the reference photos I made and blow up a couple big ones. But I don't have a printer out here in the middle of the woods, and or I would look at my phone at the photos. But I'm using my phone to record this, so I'm just going to do this out of memory, which no problem. All right, so we got some trees, and there was some cool apple trees here, which you'll never see them once we get going. But let's put them. Beautiful country up here. The vineyard is just off the hook, gorgeous. If you ever get a chance to visit it, I mean, they got flower gardens everywhere. All right. And here are the big party tents, which they already have set up. Which, if I didn't mention, in 2 days my son Zachary is getting married here. And this painting is for him and his lovely wife Rachel, or soon-to-be wife. So it's got a lot of personal meaning to me, this painting. I'm just going to put some clouds in. There were some great cloud formations yesterday, and I jotted them down real quick. So the vineyards, like I said, they start right here, and they work their way down. They're on both sides, and it's really cool because like every fifth row is a different kind of grape, for the different wines. I'm not a wine drinker. It gives me headaches, but I will participate a little tomorrow. And then this road, and I guess it's where the tractors. There was a main road down here, which is where I was parked and taking these perspective shots up the hill. Okay, so that's what I would consider blocked in. And I just want to make a note, if you've never used sanded paper, be very careful when you first do it, because one time I was doing a painting and it started getting all black. I'm like, why is it getting so dark? Well, I had rubbed all the skin off my fingers and I was bleeding. So you gotta be very careful. Once you get this layer down, it's soft as silk, and then you can blend no problem. But when you're first blending on that, that's 500 grit. I used to do 300 grit, which was really, really rough. The higher the number, the softer the grit. So 600 is softer than this, but I like 500. It just holds the pastel awesome. And be very careful, because once you rub the skin off the top of your fingers, it takes a long time for it to grow back. It hurts. Everything you touch hurts. So here we go, all blocked in. Okay, pretty boring. Looks like a field of grass, or I mean a plowed field or whatever. But this is where it gets fun. This is where your imagination takes over. So am I gonna paint individual grapes? No, impossible. Am I gonna make it look like a grapevines? I'm gonna try. But if not, it's still gonna look awesome, I hope. Like I said, once again, be very careful with this paper, this board. Once it's down, this is soft. This is really nice now, and I probably wouldn't, mess up my fingers too much. You could use a colored paper, which I do that often, but I don't know. You tend to leave a lot of openings, and then the whole painting's got, the same color all over. I don't know. I prefer to fill it in myself. But colored paper's cool. If you want to do something faster, if you want to save your pastels, for sure use colored paper, because good pastels are expensive. All right, so we're blocked in. I gotta do a little more in the clouds, the house, little details. I'll go back to using. I'll use the new pastels. You can get nice little, especially if you break them, you can get real thin lines. So we'll be doing a lot of the what I call details with the new pencil. All right. Okay, so basically putting in shadows under the grapes, and of course, instead of using black, using purple and green go together so well. So in the interim, my battery went dead on the camera, so I had to take a break. And since I don't have electric at my site here, I had to go over to the bathroom house and plug it in by the sink and sit there and wait for my phone to charge. Kind of a pain, but gotta do what you gotta do. And I was checking out some of the video, and I noticed that I put my back to the camera a lot, which blocked the painting. So I apologize for that. I'm new to this, and I'm gonna have to be more mindful of that. But I apologize that I had to show you so much of it. All right, I want to put some shadows. I like the dark shadows on here. Actually, the sun was like straight above, so it was coming straight down. I want to go with some shadows under these trees, but I don't want to go as dark. I don't use green a whole lot, but certainly in this painting. But man, purple goes so good with green. All right, I don't want to do too much more shadows up there. A little of this purple down here. And pull it down. Like I said, the sun was straight up above, so these grapes were shadowed underneath. But you always want to give direction to your, whether you're using a brush, you know, water. I love watercolors. I started doing pastels, again, about a year ago, and fell back in love with them. But primarily, I was doing watercolors for a long time. And with watercolors or acrylics or oils, keep your brush strokes directional. I mean, you're trying to get you people to look into the painting, not out. You don't want to leave the eye out. So, like I said, I also want to put some shadows in them ruts, but you gotta be real careful there. Because they're not shadowed. Well, they are shadowed a little because they're ruts, but there's nothing above. But yeah, that's enough, you know. Still got my dog there. Yeah, that's enough to show that. That's cool. Now remember, I got these weeds down here, which are gonna. I'll have all kinds of colors down here. And these weeds got some shadows under them. Not much. Not as much as those grapevines. Come back to that. Deep purple. I don't want this to look like another row of grapes. This is just where they mow in between the fields, and they mowed alongside this road, which I'm not putting in. And this is just weed line, basically. But the ditches up here are just full of wildflowers. They're gorgeous. Remember to fade in the outside, like I was saying. It adds to perspective. It brings the eye back into the painting. Like I said, this is rough. This is soft. So once again, be careful so you don't rub the skin off your fingers. Now, I still got purple on my fingers, so I want to use it up here a little. All right, I like that. Oh, that's pretty. I grabbed the wrong purple, but man, that looks nice. Actually, this is the purple I'll use for the grapes. Yeah, that's nice. Put a little on my hand, see how it looks up here. I like it. See, almost like the clouds where I put a little pink up top, a little purple. I'm throwing a little of this purple. It's really pretty with just my finger. Check out that color. Different. This is a blue. Blue is green. There's so much green in here in this painting that you gotta break it up. Man, I really love this purple. Was there purple in the grass? No. But does it look cool? Yeah. Like I said, we just gotta break that green up a little. A lot of green. Put a little shadow under our puppy here. I need a darker green. One thing about pastels, you kind of have to have all the colors you need, because unlike acrylic and oil and watercolor, you can't mix color. I mean, there's a little mixing going on, but for the most part, pastels, you want a certain color, you gotta have it. And this is the drawing part that I love. I mean, I'm not outlining things, but I'm giving them general shapes. Breaking some of these trees up. Like I said, showing them apple trees here, which you'll never know there's apples. Now the vines, you know, there's a wire. That's basically what I'm trying to show here. And there's also the posts, which I'll do probably last. Posts at the end, really cool. I mean, these wires are, you know, they're silver, but that just wouldn't show up. This is more like, and like I said, I did a lot of watercolor. Most of the time I would do detail with pen and ink. And this just reminds me of that. Broken line, lost and found lines. You don't want a straight line. Look ridiculous. Lost and found lines. Some people won't even know, well, what the heck are them lines in there? It's all right. It's the overall look of the painting. It's all that matters. When it comes to Impressionism, coolest thing is every person that looks at your painting will see something different. They'll have a different feeling, each person. Yeah, I like that. See, that added to it. Let me before I get too far, let me get my dog in here. Like I said, he was and it's an impressionistic dog. I mean, it might look like a sheep to somebody. It might look, I don't know what it looks like. Okay, so clouds are a bit tricky. Get them in. You gotta be really careful. You notice I stayed away from the green. Because you hit that green, you get green in your clouds. There's a little right here. Just drives me nuts. And then after I get the clouds down, like a little pink at the top. And you probably saw it. I took my pink and I just rub it on my finger to get that little pink at the top. You just rub it in, you don't overdo it. and I like purple at the bottom because clouds shade themselves actually. So the bottoms are, like I said, now we add a little pink to the top. I just rub it on my finger. You don't want to put a harsh line, then you got to try to get the line out. Okay, so you just want to just massage it in. Just massage it in. And stay away from that green. What I'll do is make these trees bigger, and that'll take up those gaps there that I left. And I don't overdo it. I love a lot of color, so it needs to be. Yeah, I don't want to overdo that. So like I said, now that it's all blocked in, it's really smooth. It's like, you know, beautiful to the touch. You can blend, but then you drive yourself nuts. You keep on going. Now clouds are wispy, at least most of them. You're getting wisps going the same direction. The wind's going that way, so it wisps tops of the clouds that way. And like I said, on the bottom, I took my purple, and you can make them darker. The bottom's darker if you want. But I'm trying to keep this one really light. So at this point, I paint over the sky a little. And remember, these trees further away are going to be more blended in because perspective-wise, it makes them look further back. And then we'll get, as I get closer, I'll do less blending. All right, now I'm going back into the grapevines. I want to keep that grass nice and light. Grapevines were chock full of grapes, and definitely darker than the grass. And as I come forward, I'll make them darker and darker for perspective. And then those posts, they're going to add a lot of character to it. I'm going to put them in last. Now, on the edges, you really want to blend more because you want your eye to focus in. So the less detail out here and the more in here, your eye is drawn to your focal point. There's several focal points here, but the edges aren't one of them. At least I don't want them. And it's okay if some are tough because some of the vines were taller and they did go run into the row behind it, so that's not a biggie. I'm trying to actually get rid of it. I mean, it looks like a washboard, which is okay. But it'd be more interesting if some of these rows, you know, went into each other, took away that washboard look. These last couple of rows, I want them to get bigger. Really to show some grapes in there. Alright, this is like I said, along the road here, there was grass, but this was where the grass wasn't mowed and it was all wildflowers. And we're going to yellow flowers and light blue. grass in between the vines. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just gonna keep working on making them vines darker and darker and darker, which is gonna make it all pop. And that grass is tucked in there. You see spots where you miss the back, blend them in. Blend them in now. Because you get it, you get everything good, and then you say, oh man, there's a little spot right there where I can see. Get it now. When I start to get into the detail of the house and the grapes down here, like I said, I'm trying to show some grapes down here where, where it's closer to you. And I'll be my dog, of course. I think it was it wasn't a sheepdog, but like a herding dog. He was black and white, really, really friendly. He didn't know what I was doing. He barked at me somewhat, but he didn't lunge at me, so I left him alone, he left me alone, and we enjoyed each other's company. At least I did. Okay, so I topped off the vines, with some bright green. It's to show the sun hitting individual leaves, basically. Boom, 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 boom. And I still need to put a little more shadow down here. Kind of bugging me a little. Like I said, I don't want it to look like another row of grapes, though. So that's good. Yeah, that's better. All right, I'm kind of liking it. All right. What's nice is these posts that held up the wire were white, which is cool because I got white here and I got a white dog there. I need more white, which is perfect. So far away, I'll use my pencil because that, for the way it's smaller. There was a main post and they had these little things, another little post cut in. Oh man, mosquitoes are starting to come out. The rows are repetitive, the posts are repetitive. So you got to kind of make them a little sloppy, just to, break up the repetitiveness. I was going to use a thicker chalk down here, but this is looking real good, so. You don't want them all in a line, because just doesn't look right. Like I said, there was one post and then there was like a guide put where the wire went up, boom. Matter of fact, I'll go back to my black and I'll put that wire going up and then the wire loop, loop, loop. And there's posts all along. Like I said, since you got a white dog and the white party tents, these white posts were perfect to add that white around your painting. Clean off your tip because I'm getting green in it. And of course, some of them can be leaning. So the posts were closer, but I'm gonna put them a little further apart. You want to kind of space them not equally apart, but you know, when they put them in, I'm sure they were measured a certain distance apart. That was the same, but you know, I don't want that in our painting. Yeah, I love the posts. Make the posts a little bit bigger and further apart down here. Remember, we've got them little black lines, which are the wire they hang on. And I gotta remember to put that wire, boom, 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 down to these anchor posts. Yeah, so there's some things you save for the end because you know they're gonna work, but you don't want to rush them in. And I knew these posts were gonna work. And I love them. All right, we're getting close. Like I said, down here, there were beautiful blue flowers. And you got to use your discretion. How much you want to put in. Don't overdo it. As you build up your pastels, you want the softest ones on the top. At least that's how I do it. This again helps to distinguish that this is not a row of grapes down here. Looks like somebody planted a flower garden, but the ditches around here, like I said, are full of wildflowers. They look like they were planted on purpose. And again, don't make them, uniform. That's nice. Grapes. I want to put some grapes. And you know how grapes, they're bigger at the top, smaller at the bottom. You want to see here. I can get away with just a couple dots because it could be a whole cluster. But due to perspective. You see a whole cluster as a little dot. Actually, the grapes are so deep in the thicket of it, you really don't see them unless you walk right up to it. You'll see in some of my photos, I mean, you have to actually zoom in to see the grapes, and it's a cluster of grapes that big. but there's so many leaves and vines. It's just hard to pick them out. And if you do a painting like this, you put as many grapes as you want. If you do a pumpkin patch, put as many pumpkins as you want. It's your patch, your vineyard. More than anything, it's your imagination. Go wild. You want a lot in that front row. That's closer to you. Hey, you know what? Another thing I wasn't going to do is apples in the tree, but why not? I don't want one that big. They're a little bright. Oh, of course.
Hello.
How are you doing? Well, that was nice. I paused the video because a lady came up with her children, wanted to look at the painting, and she recognized it right away as the vineyard, which they just visited the other day. And the kids said, "Oh, there's the dog," because apparently they were picking blueberries, and that dog came up to them a couple times, which that was kind of cool that they recognized the vineyard and the dog. Hey, how you doing? Good, good. You want to check it out? So I had another admirer walk up and check the painting out, which I always love. Shut the video off for that. I'm gonna put a little like sunspots here and there. You know, if you got an area that looks kind of dull, add a highlight or add a shadow. Make it pop. You can make your dullest part of your paintings look awesome with a little shadow or a little highlight. This is kind of dabbled sun in between the rows, which I think helped. Because when you're using your, like I said, you use the softest pastels on top, but they tend to clump. And that's okay if that's what you want. Like I got these grapes, they're clumping, that's fine. Got no problem with that. So if it's really getting tight and you need this clean, use your pencil. The apples came out a little too big. I'll knock them down a little. That's fine. These weren't apple trees on this side, but you know what? They're gonna be now because I want to balance this out a little. I got some red up there. Put some red down there. There weren't red flowers in that. See, this one's a little too big. Take your pencil and just knock it off. There you go. So much like the little flowers around here, I'm gonna put some flowers up here. Yeah, all around that house there were flower gardens. And some of these apples were, you know, were yellowed a little. Oh, this is peach, which is fine. Again, I got a little too much, so I take my pencil, knock them down a little. I'll probably sign it in red. Don't know why, it's just a lot of green. I mean, there's no way around having this much green. That's the way it looks. I'm gonna sign it after I put the mat on it, because so many times I made my signature and then when I matted it, I either covered up half my signature or my whole signature. So I find, put the mat on it and then figure out where. Probably if I put it here, I'm safe. I think I'm gonna put it there. I sign it R. Brewer because my name is Robert Brewer. Thank you very much. I hope you like it.